But anyway, to reach the top of any mountain, to achieve any kind of a success, you have to climb. You have to climb. And it takes an effort. Yes, I know it takes an effort. But here's the key. You can't drift to the top of a mountain. I don't know anybody who successfully drifted to the top of the mountain who had drifted into success. No, you don't have to scale dangerous walls or take on treacherous cliffs or place your life in danger. Quite the contrary, actually. It's an easy climb when you climb with the right mindset, when you climb with the right tools, when you climb with the right strategy, and you're resolute to reach the summit. The fact is, really, I have found in my own experiences, and with the tens of thousands of people that I've worked with over the last 20 years, is that climbing is liberating. Working hard on your future is self-rewarding. And here's the key, it's life-changing. Why most people don't do it, I don't know. I mean, it's easy to do. It's liberating. It's rewarding. So the challenge, though, today, however, is here is the key, is that most people want to reach the top of the mountain, but they don't want to climb. So we're going to change that. And we go to slide 3. We're going to talk about that search versus campaign. I talk about this in the program. I talk about it throughout the 5 steps of rapid employment. But contrary to what most people have bought into in terms of beliefs, their thoughts, there are so many good-paying jobs available. In fact, well over 3 million right this minute. And let me tell you this, there's only one reason why these jobs are unfilled, and it has nothing to do with skill gaps or all the stuff you read by so-called experts doing skill gaps analysis and so on. And it isn't because employers are waiting for the election to get over and see who's going to win the election and they aren't eager to fill the positions. That is all a myth. You can't buy into that. The primary reason why job openings have not been filled is that most job seekers have not been taught how to conduct a hard-nosed, well-strategic job campaign where they communicate their value, their ability to produce, your ability right now, talking to job seekers, to contribute and deliver significant results. In other words, most people are job hunters conducting a fearful and painful job hunt or a job search. The 5 Steps to Rapid Employment program transforms this fearful, this painful, uncomfortable activity into a courageous campaign that is both inspiring and empowering. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you've got to the point right now where you've got to know that nobody campaigns for elected office and just sort of gets up late in the morning and doesn't know their messages and has no strategy. It's a campaign, and if you're willing to campaign, you'll land a job quickly. So let's go to slide 4. Rapid employment only requires you, job seekers, to employ discipline over neglect. In the end, all of us are going to experience one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of neglect. I mean, that's it. It's the only 2 things. I suggest you embrace discipline over neglect. And if you think about it, the only difference between high achievement and underachievement, between landing a job quickly and a long, painful job search, is the difference between discipline and neglect. It takes discipline to stay on the yellow brick road. Just as it does, you remember that Fidelity commercial where it has the green carpet and people want to go out and buy this and buy that, and they say, no, stay on the green carpet, please. Hey, it's easy to get distracted. I know that. All these voices vying for our attention today. Do this, do that. Let's go out for coffee. Let's go to happy hour. Hey, get on Facebook for a while. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to seek seductive and dangerous shortcuts. It's easy to revert back to old habits, like cutting the day short, not giving the day a full 8 or 9 hours, like not having a written plan, or not taking the time to create a standout value-based resume, reference portfolio, or LinkedIn. It's easy not to do that stuff. But it's easy to do. I mean, it's in English. I mean, you don't have to learn Japanese or Chinese or 5 languages for this. You don't have to go climb Mount Everest and do this, at 28,000 feet. The 5 steps to rapid employment is easy to follow. It's only 5 steps. It's not 534. But job seekers must also remember that what's easy to do is also easy not to do. Discipline versus neglect. So the key is to never cave in to neglect and straying off the yellow brick road. I mean, it's just that easy. Just stick with the program. Let's move on, Paul. Okay, now I'm going to share with you something that changed my life 20 years ago at age 39 when I got fired by my best friend, was broke financially, broke spiritually, broken emotionally, was not a really nice guy. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living. And in the end, I hired a teacher, this coach, and he taught me some strategies. And this particular strategy is one that I've changed a little bit, but I will tell you that what I'm going to share with you today is not in the 5 Steps program. And this absolutely, fully, totally, completely revolutionized the quality of my life. And again, I've used it with thousands of people with extraordinary results. So bear with me here because I'm going to talk to you about the twin motivators. And it's, again, extraordinary in terms of its success. It's easy to encourage people to be disciplined and to stay on the yellow brick road. It's easy for me to say, hey, John, stay on the yellow brick road. Mary, stay on the yellow brick road. It's quite another thing to provide you a means for doing so. You say, Jay, it's easy for you to say stay on the path, do the planning, do the program, but sometimes I get distracted. So let me provide you with a success strategy. Leading behaviorists and psychologists going back, I don't know, thousands of years, tell us that everybody on this planet at any given time does what they do for 1 or 2 reasons. That's it. To either attract pleasure or to avoid pain. I mean, the only reason you're on this webinar is either because it's pleasurable to be here, which I hope it is, or to avoid pain. I don't want to be without a job another week or 2. Or maybe it's a combination of the 2. But it's the pain-pleasure principle. I didn't create it, but it's been, and I don't even think Freud created it. It came before Freud. It goes back thousands of years. And studies clearly show that most people, here's the key, most people will do more to avoid pain than they will to attract pleasure. Let me repeat that. Studies clearly show that most people will do more to avoid pain than to attract pleasure. Don't ask me why. I wouldn't sign up for that course. I don't know. But it's true. So we can use both the pain and pleasure principles, inspiration and desperation, if you will, to remain disciplined. Does that make sense? We can use them. You can use them. You don't need Jay Block to teach you this. Or once you need, well, maybe to teach it to you, but you don't need, after today, you won't need this. You won't need me. You just use this principle and to remain on the yellow brick road. And in all other areas of your life as well. This principle isn't just for getting jobs. It's for improving your marriage and improving your relationship with your kids and improving your health. So what I'm asking you to do is to put 100% of the effort, your heart and your soul into all 5 steps to achieve the rapid employment. And as you're being pulled off the yellow brick road, you can use the techniques I'm going to share with you, just 2, to stay on the path. Fair enough? All right, I'm on time, so let's go to the next slide. All right, we're always going to begin with pleasure. So what you'll do is in a paragraph or 2 or maybe 3, what you'll do is get a piece of paper. And I wouldn't suggest you use a computer either. A piece of paper, get a journal, and write down and describe how you will feel when you land the job you want at the pay you deserve. You've got to look towards the future, and you've got to say, well, how would it feel? So you write 2 or 3 paragraphs. That's easy to do, right? You get off this little webinar here, and you write down, you say, Jay said, in a paragraph or two to write down how I would feel when I land the job I want at the pay I deserve. That's easy to do. Yeah, but here's the other key. It's easy for you not to do this. And those who do will land jobs rapidly. Stay on track. Those who don't, well, you'll have to hope for the best win possible to get you to where you want to go. Anyway, when you write this paragraph, use emotionally charged words. How will you feel? I mean, you know, just how will you feel? What kind of stress will be taken off your shoulders? How will your family feel about your success? How will this change your whole life? How proud will this make you? Now, here's something to do. Take time and first visualize it. First visualize going to work, getting in the car, getting up in the morning, got my job, good pay, love the people I'm working with, good boss. So visualize it first so you can feel it, and then write down how life-changing this would be. Let me give you an example on the next slide. Now, I would feel unbelievable. You would write. Well, you got to do it in your own words, of course. I would be so relieved and would feel so useful again. I would be proud of myself. I'd be a hero to my family. I would get up in the morning with a huge smile on my face, just knowing I am going to a job I love with people I respect, doing what I was meant to do. What an incredible gift it would be to land a job where I can put money back into my bank account rather than keep taking money out. I would be able to go to the restaurants I love, take the trips I used to take with my family, and have all the things I want and deserve. The stress of having to land the job would be replaced with the constant ambition to contribute to my new company and my new job. My whole life would be changed for the better, including my relationship with myself, my family, and my friends. I'd exercise regularly and get back into top physical and emotional health. I'd be in heaven. See? You can't write those kind of words without first visualizing and feeling. So that's all you got to do. Easy, right? Sit down, turn off the TV, turn off the computers, turn off the people in your life. Just go into seclusion, and for about a half an hour, sit and visualize what it would be like to land a job, and then write down 2-3 paragraphs. And make sure, if you write it with no emotion, this doesn't work. Be emotional here. See, now all of a sudden when you've got this, it's, wow, now I'm ready to do this. Look at the pleasure I would get from not leaving the yellow brick road, by not putting in 7 hours when I should put 8, by making sure my resume is the best. Look what it would result in. I'll put together my meticulous action plan and follow it to a T. Wow. I can put money back into my bank account rather than taking money out. No stress, no problems. Okay. So we always begin with the inspiration. I'm a motivational person. I think this is where we begin. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, once you've got that handled, okay, we're going to introduce a little pain. So then you take a breather for a little bit, and then you come back, and in a paragraph or 2 or 3, you write down and describe how you will feel, again in writing, not on your computer, how you will feel if you fail to follow the program, to fail to follow the easy 5 steps and continue to remain unemployed. Once again, you want to use emotionally charged words. How will you feel? What kind of additional stress will you have to endure? How much more will you and your family suffer? How will your neglect and undisciplined approach affect your social life and your friendships? If you leave the yellow brick road and fail to get a job in 6 months, how will your bank account look? So once again, take time and visualize yourself remaining jobless because you failed to remain disciplined, because you consciously, not Obama, nobody else, you consciously failed to remain disciplined. You chose neglect over discipline. You couldn't stay on the 5 steps to rapid employment program. and then write down how life-damaging this will be. I mean, again, as I'm going to repeat, there's only two reasons you do something. Either because it inspires you or because it's too painful. And unfortunately, most people have to wait until they've dug a rut so deep that they almost can't get out of it. So let's take a look at what something like this might look like. I'm telling you, I did this at age 39 when I was broke, fired by my best friend, wouldn't stay on any road. I'm telling you, I cried almost as though when I went through this part, like I've almost never cried before. I visualized my 2-year-old son looking at me his whole life, thinking of me as a failure. I induced so much pain into myself, I was never, ever the same again, ever. So maybe something would be written like this. I would feel sick, sick to my stomach every minute of the day. It's hard to imagine being out of work for another day, let alone another 6 months. If I don't follow the 5 steps program, I will remain jobless. The stress overwhelming. It would affect every area of my life, relationships with my spouse, with my children, with my friends. Hey, I'd lose all self-respect. I always considered myself a disciplined person, but if I'm not disciplined and fail to follow this program and remain unemployed, I will deplete my savings when I need to begin putting money back into my bank account. If I don't follow the yellow brick road, I'll be wearing what I don't want to wear, doing what I don't want to do, unable to do what I want to do, and having to make more excuses for my own neglect. If I don't follow the 5 steps to rapid employment to a T, fear will be my only friend. My health will deteriorate, and I'll dig a deeper hole, one that I might never be able to get out of. I hope you're beginning to see that if you're not willing to do those few 5 steps with intensity, fully committed, giving yourself 110%. What I mean by that is, hey, if you've got a plan where you're supposed to be, you hold yourself accountable for 8 hours to conduct your campaign on a Monday, why not 8.5? I mean, it's only your future that you're investing in. That extra half an hour isn't for anybody else but you. Let's go to the next slide, Paul. So the bottom line here is that if we're going to be honest, we all have the tendency to procrastinate, to put off what we need to put off. As Tony Robbins taught me years ago, to major in minor things, to spend too much time on things that don't matter and too little time on things that would matter. Even at the height of emotional jubilation, the law of diminishing engagement, let me repeat that, the law of diminishing engagement kicks in, where after a few hours, a few days, in other words, a short period of time, our emotional engagement and investment in ourselves begins to diminish. And I'm telling you, the action that needs to be taken at the intensity level we need to take begins to wane. It's the natural course of the human experience. Negative is always pursuing positive. So this is a strategy, the twin motivators. And by using the twin motivators technique as a strategy, we can avoid the law of diminishing engagement. In other words, be fully engaged in everything we need to do in creating our better future. I hope this makes sense. And then, by knowing what we have to gain, the pleasure, and knowing what we have to lose, the pain, we'll take constant action. And when we begin to see that we're starting to move off that yellow brick road, the sirens go off, wow, 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 and we get back on the yellow brick road because we know what we have to gain, and we also know what the pain is we'll have to go through and endure if we don't. So I'm going to turn this back over to Paul for your questions and comments. I hope you have some good ones that you'll challenge me with. But as I said, this is a strategy that changed my life, still does. And I use it on a regular basis. So, Paul, take it away.
Thank you, Jay. Our hope is that you'll be able to learn these kinds of strategies to stay true to your plan, to your job campaign. For those of you who are coaches and instructors, some have asked me how did those who have achieved such high job placement rates, the 80% job placement rates, how did they do it? And the key was keeping the students on track. It's so easy for us to fall off the road, as Jay said, and they were able to stay on track and follow their plan until they got employed, rather than trying it for a while and getting discouraged and giving up. And our hope is that you'll be able to help your job seekers through that. So I'd like to open it up at this time for anyone that has questions. You can type those in the chat box and send them to us, and be happy to answer those at this time. I have one, Jay, that asks about, let me read this. The meticulous action plan, whether or not it's okay to have whether you have to have one as detailed as the one that's the example shown in the course, or whether it can be smaller, less detailed than that and still be successful.
Oh, I mean, I don't know whether, I thought when we did the course, I thought we showed a simple one where the person's plan was simply to get up in the morning, take a shower, exercise, and be on Main Street at 9 o'clock in the morning and hit 50 offices and see if there was a job. So I thought that was in the program. So the answer is, of course, it can be less structured than that. I think that was probably that would be extreme, the one that was in the plan. But there are some that need that structure. So the answer to that person's question is no. It can be as simple as saying, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to exercise from sometime during the day, at least for an hour, and I'm going to send out 50 resumes every single day. Just so that when we put a plan together, it raises the bar of what you would do if you didn't have a plan. Because most people's plan is just, I'm going to get up and wing it. So they get up in the morning and they really don't know what they're going to do. So as long as a job seeker has an itinerary, a plan for the day when he or she wakes up, and it's exciting plan, because they know it's going to lead to success, then that's all that's required. And to hold yourself accountable to whatever plan you make. I particularly like to do more than what I do. So yeah, I mean, whatever works for you, but set the bar high. Whatever your tasks are for the day and whatever your goals are for the day and the week, and don't let yourself off the hook too easily, I would suggest. That was a good question.
Thank you.
Thank you, whoever answered it, whoever asked it.
I have another one asking about the importance of using a reference portfolio. How important in your mind is it to have a reference portfolio just versus having a list of references they can call?
Well, I think I called the reference portfolio the secret weapon of landing a job. So again, it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. It's a secret weapon. I mean, if we use common sense, employers today, given as many people that are sending out resumes, are reading resumes with a healthy skepticism. Our job as campaign specialists in landing a job is to get employers excited about our ability to produce results and contribute in a significant way. So when we put a reference portfolio together and submit that with the resume and the references, endorsements on the reference portfolio, support and confirm the achievements and the contributions we've made in the past, I can't tell you how many people have been offered jobs, I mean, quickly because of the reference portfolio. Great resume. But just think, if you have 5 people on the reference portfolio, 6 people now, along with yourself, are making the call, are making the sales call. So it's critical to me. That's why I call it the secret weapon. It is. I don't say that with tongue-in-cheek or to be funny or humorous or with any smoke and mirrors. It's an extraordinary tool that almost nobody will use. And aren't we looking for that differentiator? What will Pedro do that nobody else is doing? What will Elisa do that nobody else is doing? I mean, they got this real exciting resume. Now they've got this reference portfolio that supports and defends and confirms and validates the information on the resume. Powerful. It's like the recommendations on LinkedIn. Don't we see recommendations on ads on TV where it may say Judy H. or it might say Michael B., but even for these ridiculous products that they have on TV, they're testimonials. They sell everywhere. Why wouldn't we use it in getting a job? This is a sales campaign. This isn't a job search. So please don't take the reference portfolio lightly. Now, the case study portfolio, somebody says, well, isn't that usually for $200,000, $250,000? Well, okay, if you're going to skimp on everywhere, you can do it on the case study a little bit, but that really helps you with interviewing as well. But the thing about the reference portfolio is that it accompanies the resume. So if I'm going to email a resume or forward a resume or send a resume or hand deliver a resume, I will never give a resume to anybody without the reference portfolio being a part of the second page or the third page of the file or the portfolio I'm handing somebody.
Thank you, Jay. Looks like our time is up for today. We're excited to have been able to kick off this webinar series, and we'll do at least one of these a month. We also encourage you to use the LinkedIn group for those of you job seekers who have additional questions, to submit your questions there, make comments, and we can help support you as you go through your job search and overcome any obstacles that you may find. Our goal is to help you be successful and to do it rapidly. So we appreciate everyone attending today, and wish you all a great day and a wonderful weekend.